Right, greetings family. Welcome back to the channel. This is Choices Tarot and Dreams, and we're going to be doing a reading for, this is Libra for the month of July 2026. Alright, so that's what we need to know for Libra, July 2026. And it's going to be a simple reading again. You know how we do it. It's just past, present and future. And that's it, just keeping it very simple. It's not directed to any particular individual, any person or any group, and it's a very general reading. Let me just line this up. How does that? Alright, we'll keep it there. Right, month of July, Libra 2026. What we got going on for you, man? Two of Cups, Knight of Wands and the Fool. So coming into this month, are you experiencing good vibes in a relationship? It's not necessarily a relationship. It can be if you're in a relationship, or it could be the beginning of a beginning of something new, right? Harmony, there's good vibes, there's connection, there's, union of opposites. Opposites in terms of masculine and feminine. Opposites, yes, man and woman, but it could be, if you're in a same-sex relationship, it still applies. And, we don't differentiate with any of that. If you're in a relationship, basically, it's harmony, it's just cooperation, communication, and it's emotional fulfillment, man. You're feeling good about this thing. And if it's a new relationship, then it's it's the beginning of something new. But that's coming into this month. All right. If you're a single, it still applies to you. If you're a single person, then there's harmony and there's a union of opposites within yourself. All right. So there's stability, there's emotional fulfillment, there's satisfaction. There's internal sort of stability there within you, right? So we can think of this in terms of energies as, the masculine and feminine aspects of each individual. We all have that within us, right? So you're feeling good about things. Alternatively to that, it could be something, either that energy is already there for you, or it's something that you're working towards, and that's what you're bringing into this month. Into this month then is the Knight of Wands. So there's movement in terms of working towards building your ideas and your dreams, all right? It's fulfilling your desires, whatever it is that you have planned, whatever it is that you've had in the works, that you're working on, you're preparing. I think you're going to be bringing these things into fruition. It could be to do with relationships, or it could be. It doesn't have to be relationships. It could be anything. Just projects that you're working on. It could be the business. It could be a property that you're working on. You know what I mean? It's just whatever it is that's going on with you. It could be that the relationship is involved in that. And maybe you're working with somebody to get your project, to build on whatever it is that you're building. But there's definitely movement, there's definitely momentum, you're moving forward, there's a lot of energy there, a lot of drive to move forward and get things done. So it's a very active month for you, Libra. All right. The caveat with that is, there might be a tendency to just sort of charge forward without thinking or planning too much about it, whatever it is that you're doing. So there's a caution there. Maybe there are times that you need to slow down and think about what it is that you're doing, rather than just charging headfirst blindly. And that's interesting, actually, when we think about the Fool. So the foundation there is actually there. So there's a foundation of stability there. There's a foundation of balance, you know, of equanimity there. There's also something about destiny that is being played out here. You know, but this energy here for this month is moving forward and just, you know, getting things started, getting things done at all costs. And there is a danger in that as well, that, you know, you're just charging forward blindly and you're not thinking, you know, you think later, you act first, but then you think later. And maybe the warning there is that, okay, look, just slow down just a little bit. Yes, move forward. It's necessary to move forward and build your dreams, right? Like, so, you know, build whatever it is that you're building, but also be cautious, you know, when you need to be. Take your time and sit back and think about what it is before you actually take that, you know, some important steps. It's good to have a bit of planning, but that's also the point here with the Fool as well. So moving forward beyond this month, going into next month and even beyond that. So the Fool, all right, is there a choice that's coming up for you? Okay, so the Fool is if there's a choice coming up for you, man, there's something there about sort of taking a leap of faith, you know, trusting in your instincts, or, you know, just not necessarily planning, but, you know, just moving forward with your decisions. And not necessarily just getting caught up so much in, you know, planning that it becomes procrastination. You see what I'm saying? So oftentimes if you've got an idea, or if you're working on a project, or you've got an idea to start something and you keep delaying it because you're working on something constantly, trying to perfect everything because you feel like you need to get everything perfect before you move forward. Otherwise, if things aren't really set out, if things aren't really perfect, you know, that you feel like it's going to be a hindrance, or things aren't going to be good, you know, and that's really not how, that's really, you know, not, that could be a sign that you're procrastinating. You know, it's an indication that you're procrastinating. And there might be, you know, other reasons, there might be deeper reasons for that. But it's an indication there that you're procrastinating, and there's an indication there that there's something more. There's something more to that. Why are you procrastinating? You know what I mean? You're putting things off, but you're giving the excuse that, look, I'm planning. You know what I mean? I'm working things out. I'm trying to perfect things before I get things started. But you're really sort of pushing things back, and it's kind of a subconscious, sort of subtle, very subtle way of sort of procrastinating and just holding back. And, you know, there could be some unconscious fear there that's taken a hold of you, but it's coming forth, it's manifesting itself as, you know, a need for perfection, but it's actually not. So rather than doing that, you know, it's often the case that you really just need to, you know, start whatever it is that you've been planning. Just go ahead and do it, even if it's not perfect. Don't worry about it. You know, whatever you begin, it becomes a work in progress, right? You learn on the job. Kind of like what I'm doing with this channel here. I've just started this channel, and it's kind of chaotic. You know what I mean? I haven't got a proper schedule because I've got so many other things going on. But I was kind of, you know, I was just itching, just, you know, just trying to I just wanted to get it started. It was kind of like the Night of Wands for me as well. You know what I mean? I just wanted to get something started. I've been thinking about it for ages, and I was thinking about, all right, I need to get this done, and I need to get this done, and there were other projects that were connected, and I thought, let me get those sorted first, and then we'll start it. But in the end, I kind of got frustrated with myself, and I thought, you know what? If I don't start it now, I'm never going to start it. So I just went ahead and did it, and there's a lot of work to be done to you know, have an identity for the channel, a proper, you know, branding and all of that business. But yeah, so that's really what I see for, moving beyond this month. And it could be that there's a choice coming up for you, and you're moving. You're moving in one of two directions. And the idea, as I said with the Knight of Wands, it's a balance is necessary here. So moving forward, going into the fall and the next month and moving forward beyond that, so something's going to be coming up for you. It could be the beginning of something new, right? Whether it's relationships or whether it's a new project or a new opportunity, maybe a job opportunity, a business, or, a move or something like that, or something, other than these things. It's something new that you're beginning, or it's a new way of looking at things. It's a new perspective, and going back to this thing that I said with the Knight of Wands, that, sometimes you can just move forward without, thinking about it. And that might, there's a potential there for things to get kind of hairy, you know what I mean, in certain situations at some point. That's definitely the message here with the Fool, that yes, take that leap of faith. The Fool is kind of like the Forrest Gump type of energy that you have. You're moving blindly, but you have that incredible amount of faith that everything's just going to turn out fine, and you don't need to worry about anything, which is beautiful to have that attitude. But at the same time, yes, use your intuition, use the spiritual side, use that to make your decision, but at the same time, it's good to balance that out with a bit of practicality. You know what I mean? Be practical, be logical as well. Have that part of it, but balance it out and use your intuition. Trust your instincts. You know what I mean? So it seems to me that with the Two of Cups, that you've got the foundation there, that this balance, that this equanimity that you have within yourself. And also, if you're in a relationship, if that's a relationship, then, that's also a reflection of your internal state too. And even in a relationship, every relationship is an opportunity for growth. You see what I mean? So you've got the foundations there for growth, and, that foundation of stability and equanimity and growth and a level of maturity, open communication with whoever it is that you're working with, a partner or, colleagues, clients, whatever. So you've got the foundations there to help you when it comes to making whatever decisions you're going to be making here in the future. So this month then is about it. This month then is practice for you. So yes, there's a lot of energy there. There's a lot of opportunity for movement and moving forward with your ideas and your projects, but it's also practice. Don't, just jump into things head first without looking. There's a potential for things to get kind of sticky. You know what I mean? So in order to, you can be cautious a little bit, but also having that sense of adventure and just moving forward and having faith in the universe that things are going to turn out good for you. So this month, practice that attitude. It's that Forrest Gump type of energy, man, or that dude in Apocalypse Now. There's all this chaos going on around him, but this dude just wants to go surfing in the waters, and he's walking around like nothing's going on. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, there's all, explosions going off and everything around him. He's just in his own little world. But anyway, that's you for this month, Libra. Listen, like, comment, subscribe, share this with anybody who you think might find it helpful. And thank you for tuning in, man. And I'll catch you in the next one. Have yourself a great month, all right? Take care.